What you're looking at here is a simple formula. It's an exercise called the Portal to Power. We're going to complete it in just a moment. This is about 75% of the exercise. But I want you to look at this and begin to get the juices flowing about what are the limiting beliefs that I'm dealing with. If you're having a hard time, say, for example, you're trying to start a business whenever you're watching this. I mean, this has been the case for a long time. If you want to have a business, you pretty much got to be willing to get on camera and post content, right? Nowadays, every business owner is a content creator, but a lot of people fear getting on camera. They have limiting beliefs around putting themselves out there. They have limiting beliefs around if people are going to accept or reject them. And the question is, what is that limiting belief? For example, when I got started, I'm an online marketer myself. You're going through one of my courses. I'm a course creator. I sell information using what's called the core 4 business models to sell information online, courses, coaching, events, and doing affiliate marketing. I've been doing that for nearly 15 years now, right? And when I first got started, going back to some of these images that I showed you a moment ago, right? Here I am, 25 years old. Got a nicotine patch on my arm. I'm trying to quit smoking, right? I got my headphones on, and I'm telling you, I look like I'm all business right there, but I am full of limiting beliefs. Okay, one of the limiting beliefs that I dealt with when I was trying to get started and trying to launch my business, and not to sound like an old guy, because I'm certainly enjoying my 40s here, although this gray beard shows lots of wisdom and lots of experience. Certainly, that's got to be what it is. If I think back to this time in my life, I was full of limiting beliefs. One of the limiting beliefs that I had was that I was afraid of losing community. And let me explain. I was afraid because I hung out with so many people who were in middle class, but mostly lower to middle class, that if I began to build a successful business, I was going to lose the support of those people, in the friendship, in the love of those people, because who did I think I was? Trying to go and do I think I'm better than them? Oh, Dave thinks he's better than them, better than us. So I had a limiting belief around losing that community and those friends that I made. A lot of times the friends that I had bonded over sharing our struggles, how hard it was. You know, I also grew up watching my father, and then at this time I was also working construction. And so it was a hard day's work for a good, honest day's pay, and the pay wasn't that much, which is why I wanted to get out of construction and get into entrepreneurship and owning my own business and being my own boss. And so I had a limiting belief that I couldn't make money unless I worked hard. The harder you work, the more you make. I had no idea or concept around leverage. I also had a limiting belief around criticism, and that I was going to be rejected, and that it was going to hurt, and that somehow I was going to, something bad was going to happen to me as I began to put myself out there in videos, on the internet. And I was deathly afraid of people criticizing me and just simply caring too much about what people thought of me. I had a lot of limiting beliefs around money. I didn't have a abundance mentality around money. I had a lack mentality around money. Part of it was how I saw my father struggle with money. No matter how hard he worked, he could never get ahead. Some of which came from my mother's side, but not as much. I had a limiting belief that, people who were rich were evil, right? Because that's a lot of times the conversation with people who are struggling. People say things like, well, must be nice, or other offhanded comments like that are sort of passive-aggressive towards people who are successful. They see the glory, but they don't see the story, which is one of the reasons why I'm going back in time about my story. Because you may see me now or hear me here on courses or in audios or on podcasts or on stages and think this is Maybelline. Maybe he was born with it. I wasn't born with it. I struggled with these limiting beliefs. So if we go back over to our exercise here, the Portal to Power process, we can begin to look at where these limiting beliefs came from. Now, maybe the limiting belief is a loss of community. That was one of the first examples that I gave. And maybe that event or the person who impacted my confidence in that area is not from my childhood, but it's my current situation. Maybe I'm a 30 or 40-year-old guy or gal, and I've got this community that I've built around my kids going to school and we've become friends with certain people, and we all kind of commiserate about how hard life is, and that suddenly if I want to get out of this situation and do something better for myself, I'm going to lose that sense of community because who do I think I am to go and try to get rich or try to be successful, right? So that may be something from your current life, from the current chapter of your life. Whereas maybe you viewed the way in which your father or mother talked about money, for example, which has created limiting belief that you don't deserve success and that money is hard to get and that you or people from your family don't get money easily or don't make money easily or are not lucky because you grew up hearing your mother or your father say things when you maybe ask for a new pair of shoes or a new toy. What do you think? Money grows on trees. We can't afford that. And if you hear that enough times or things like that enough times, you grow up with a lack mentality around money that, you know what, there's really not that much money. Money is kind of a scarce thing. And so, if you get it, you got to kind of keep it. And if I got a job, I can't quit that job or lose that job because I'm going to lose that money, and money is hard to come by. We can't afford that. And so that can make it very difficult to launch a business because I've got to take risk to launch a business, right? So a limiting belief may have come also from a mother or a father. And that could even be a category. You could write down all of the limiting beliefs in one of those boxes that came from your mother. And maybe that's the person who impacted your confidence. And all the limiting beliefs that came from your father. And maybe that's the person that you write down in the next box. Limiting belief around loss of community. And the event or person is your current community who impacted your confidence, your current life situation. There could have also been something in which, I'm going to give you a really simple example, but hey, I'm afraid to get on video because, there was this one time back in 9th grade, I was in front of the class doing a mock debate. I tripped up and I said something that I didn't mean to say, or I froze up and everybody started laughing. That could be a situation or a scenario that may have affected your confidence dramatically, and you may not even really remember that or think about it often, but it's sort of ingrained in your software. If we go back to the root system, that particular situation may be rooted in your past, and although you don't think about it every time or every day or each time you pick up your camera and go to record a video, it may be a bug or an error in your software. And if you can acknowledge that and become aware of that, which is the purpose of this exercise, then we can overcome it, and you can overcome it. But if you put your head in the sand and stay in denial about these events or situations, then it's just ignorance is not bliss. And ignorance does not equal confidence either. Not as an adult. Maybe as a child, right? When you're like born, because you were born brave, courageous, confident, and you're just ignorant of the world. Okay, totally different scenario. As an adult, ignorance means pain. It means staying in the same place, okay? So, let's take some time, take a few moments, 10, 15 minutes, as long as you need, to write the limiting beliefs that you're struggling with starting your business, or if you're working this on becoming a more confident parent, or if you're working on becoming a more confident single person who's trying to date, or if you're working on becoming a better, more confident husband or wife. Take the time to go through and identify what the limiting beliefs are, who the event or person that impacted your confidence is or was, And the emotion that you felt from that situation, was it insecurity? Was it fear? Can help to be able to identify the emotions. A lot of times, what do you think? Well, we can sort of spout off what we think, but how do you feel? How did that make you feel? Anxious, right? If it made you feel anxious when you heard your parents fighting about money in the kitchen and they didn't know you heard them, now conversations about money. For example, I've worked with a lot of people over the years who, when they're in sales, asking for money gave them tremendous anxiety. And that's because every time that they asked for something in their early childhood, they got a big reaction from one of their parents or caregivers. What do you think money grows on trees? What do you think I'm rich? That can make somebody really uncomfortable asking for money. And that's exactly what you do in sales and marketing. You ask for money. And so that's another great example, by the way, that I definitely had a limiting belief around. And so many people that I've worked with in marketing and sales and entrepreneurship do as well. And so if you can identify that emotion, anxiety, fear, insecurity, there's a great resource. You can look it right up on the internet. Sometimes pulling up the feelings wheel is something that we all have to do. The feelings wheel looks like this. If you need to look at it and you need to just get some ideas of how you felt, again, this is just one that I grabbed off of the internet, and credit to the maker, and you can go find a feelings wheel that is exactly or similar to this as well. But my point is that when you are writing down an emotion, it can help. Similar to the example that I just gave about the salesperson asking for money, having anxiety, stemming back, rooted into their childhood, hearing or seeing reactions when they ask for money to one of their parents can be really insightful and can allow us that as we are approaching a sale situation, or even on a video where we're giving somebody a call to action. In marketing, we're saying, hey, go click the link, or go enroll in my course, or go buy this product that I recommend, and we feel feelings of anxiety. We don't have to feel, oh my gosh, like I'm a broken person and there's something wrong with me and I'll never be able to do this. No, that's a part of my software that was installed by somebody else, and I'm going to uninstall that. And that's what this whole course is about. And I'm going to reinstall some powerful software that can help me in those situations. One final note here before you start working on this portal to power process. Throughout this course, you're going to see below the video lessons in the assignment section a guided visualization. I'll mention it in each video, and you'll see it down in the assignment section if there's one that goes along with that lesson. In this one first lesson, there is a guided visualization that I've recorded and created for you to listen to. It's rather short. It's well worth the time investment to listen to it, to get some of those emotional juices flowing, that subconscious actually working to give you just a little extra boost. Again, a lot of times some of these memories or scenarios or events are somewhat unclear. And so when we can take the time to get a little bit of clarity, kind of settle down our thoughts and our minds and our feelings to be able to access those root systems. Those root systems can be rather deep. And so I encourage you and invite you to listen to that guided visualization. Take 10 or 15 minutes, or as long as you need, to write down the limiting beliefs, the event or person who impacted your confidence, and the emotion that you felt during that situation. And when you come back, we're going to continue the portal to power process and give you a tool to help combat these limiting beliefs. Go ahead and get started now, and I hope you enjoy the process.